morning. This is The Conversation. It comes your way Monday through to Friday on TOS TV Network, your digital first Pan-African network. I am Nkamian John.
And I am Ade Suwaosui. Good morning and welcome to the show.
This morning, without much ado, we go straight to developments across Africa. As you know, we do our bit to bring you up to speed with all the developments as they have happened, where they happened, when and why. And so this morning, without wasting time, we take off from the southern part of Africa, South Africa to be precise, where its annual consumer price index, CPI, for the year 2020 was at 3.3%, the lowest inflation recorded since 2004. Now, Statistics South Africa, Stats SA, said on Wednesday. Now, Stats SA attributed food and non-alcoholic beverages as the main drivers of inflation in December, with a monthly increase of 0.5% and an annual increase of 6.0%. Now, this was up from November's annual reading of 5.8%. Meat prices rose by 7.3% from a year ago and by 1.2% from November.
That's quite interesting. Positive news from South Africa right there. And we're moving to Tunisia, where the people are protesting a change in regime. The people of Tunisia want a change. They're actually saying the whole system must go. So protesters have rallied in Tunisia's capital after several nights of street violence, reviving the chants that rang a decade ago in a revolution that brought in democracy. The people want the fall of the regime. Daytime protests in Tunis and some other cities demanding jobs, dignity, and the release of detainees have followed clashes over recent nights between security forces and youths, as COVID-19 restrictions add to wider economic malaise. The whole system must go. We will return to the streets and we will regain our rights and our dignity that a corrupt elite seized after the revolution, said Maher Abid, an unemployed protester. That is quite interesting, actually, to see that people are, I think it's as you've always said, that the young people want a change and they're not going to stop at anything until they get it.
Right now, it's their time. They are a force of nature that no one or anything can stop at this time. So wisdom suggests that any country, any government that recognizes that truly the youths are the future must begin to create room and opportunities to dialogue and consistently engage the young people, speak their language, so to say, and before you know it, you will find that meeting point where both sides can contribute positively to the growth and development of not just their nation, but the continent at large. It has been predicted that Africa right now has the largest number of young people across the world.
Yes. I hope African leaders will see this as a time to make positive change and not a negative phenomenon. Okay, right about now, we are going to move to our COVID-19 updates for today.
All right, thanks for staying with us. Looking at the COVID-19 figures there, just about 3.5 million cases across Nigeria, but I can tell you that the death toll is quite high in the UK, and English citizens are particularly not happy as far as the development is concerned. Government under Boris Johnson is doing everything possible to roll out the vaccines as quickly as possible, and we also hear that Pfizer is also carrying out further of research to be able to come out with a vaccine that can deal with the new variants. Of course, in the last 2 months to be precise, it's been discovered all across the world, particularly South Africa, even Nigeria, that new strands of the virus have mutated, and the various producers of COVID-19 vaccines across the world are in a rush to try to meet up with the quick spate of mutation of these variants. Australia has also been hit. I beg your pardon, Canada has been hit with a new variant. They've discovered that a new variant, and we hear that President Joe Biden is going to once again put the travel ban in place, especially from countries like the UK, Brazil, and even South Africa.
That's quite sad. Okay, so we are going to move into the newspaper headlines for today.
Yeah.
To show you what the dailies are saying this morning.
Yeah, we start with the Punch newspaper. Very interesting headline as far as the Punch newspaper is concerned. Of course, in the last couple of days, over a week now, the major development across Nigeria has been the eviction notice given to herdsmen in southwest Nigeria. That story is still very much trending. We hear on the Punch, it has this headline: herders registration begin. Northern Governors Forum, Meyeti Allah back Akeredolu's order. That's the headline on the front page of the Punch. It's got three riders underneath. Governor's order stay despite peace talks. Herdsmen start leaving Ondo Forest. That is one of the rider. The second one, I'm trying to see this. Okay. Governors Forum urges state to raise farmers headmen panel over clashes and killings. And then the third rider says Makinde more concerned with political status than getting solution, says minister. That particular minister happens to be Nigeria's Minister of Youth and Sports Development, in the person of Sunday Dare. He hails from Ogun State, so Ogun State, I beg your pardon, and so he's very much interested in the development. And of course, Governor Makinde has been under a lot of criticism. Even the Yoruba people have said they will deal with him the Yoruba way.
Okay, moving on to the business day. I know that you'd have loved to take this one because you the business guy. But here, okay, so the header for this morning says used clothes going out of reach for many Nigerians as inflation bites. And then there's another headline there. It says Abbas COVID-19 response created PPE industry yearns for support. Kudos to the people in Abbas for coming through for Nigeria. And then inside the business day this morning, it says inflation, dollar pressure drive expectation for hold as MPC meets. So if you are very interested in business and you want to know what it is right now in the country, get yourself a copy of the business day.
All right, from business day, we go to the leadership newspaper, and directly under the leadership banner you can see COVID-19 tackles shortage of oxygen in states. Of course, we did bring you the story that oxygen, Nigeria requires the most expensive kind of oxygen, as the case is regarding COVID-19. And on the center of the front page of the leadership, quick notice: Southwest governors, herders, broker peace. It's also got two riders, or three riders actually, four riders under that headline. Herdsmen agree to leave forest reserves, assist in fishing out criminals. Federal government allays fears over heightened tension. And the third one says warns against politicalization of insecurity. And then finally, Ondo governor's statement misconstrued. that is coming from the Nigerian Governors Forum. So that's what it's looking. And of course, just a sneak peek as far as the leadership is concerned. It says anxiety as Nigeria records first case of UK COVID-19 variant. First case of the variant. We just before going into this, we did tell you that even the US is about to put a travel ban. Now it has been discovered that the UK variant is here, apart from the Nigerian variant. Yeah. So two variants now present in Nigeria as far as COVID-19 is concerned.
I hope we can deal with that, actually.
The good thing is that the NCDC is on top of it, and our scientists and researchers are still studying the mutation trend, if I may use, I don't know if it's scientific of the virus. So to a certain extent, I'm confident that at least we've got it in check.
I like the confidence that you have. Okay, so we go over to the Blueprint newspaper. Quite a number of interesting headlines on this one. I think the Blueprint always have amazing headlines. The very gaping one says, Northwest tops as troop kill 158 in 25 days. And then we have 4 riders under that. Our progress on anti-terror banditry war phenomenal, says the federal government. And then denies Boko Haram presence in Nasarawa. Governors broker peace over Akeredolu's quit notice. And herders agree to Sean Knight underage grazing. And then the last rider says, bandits kill pregnant woman. Many neutralized by NAF jets. That's quite sad. And then still on the COVID-19 issue, COVID-19 vaccines will no longer arrive in Nigeria in January. That's what the PTF is saying. And under that, Lagos targets 60% rollout, engages Pfizer and others. 13 core members test positive in Cross River. That's test positive to COVID-19 in Cross River. And then data protection, that's on the right side of the Blueprint newspaper. So data protection needs their moves to improve enforcement. Under that, we have EcoBank to support MSMEs with 50 billion naira loan. Atiku, he's saying Nigeria at risk of a failed state. That's former President Atiku Abubakar. And then El Zaki, court orders Kaduna government to treat wife for COVID-19. And we have high inflation rates to influence MPC decision, says analyst. Blasphemy, Kano musician freed of death penalty, appeals against retrial. Oshun pastor in police net for locking up disabled child. And the last headline on the Blueprint newspaper this morning says, oil producers host communities pick holes in PIB's provision. That is the Blueprint newspaper for this morning.
And on the Nigerian Tribune, interesting headlines. This is one paper I would encourage you to get a copy. You will find something that grabs your attention. Soldiers, IPOB, shoot out in Olu. 10 feared dead. Now, this was trending yesterday. I saw some very horrific videos. Olu was a hot zone yesterday, and it's on the front page of the Tribune. So if you're interested in knowing how what happened in Olu in Imo State, southeast Nigeria, then you should get a copy of the Tribune. Military political leaders on top of Southwest security matter. That is coming from the federal government on the front page of the Tribune. And of course, in the center of the Tribune, right there, you can see it, free range grazing must be stopped. Southwest governors Mayati Allah agree. Free range grazing must be stopped. This reminds me also of a video that trended yesterday of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, in the person of Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes.
And he asked a very salient question that we all drink milk that come all the way from the Netherlands. That do we see them having their cows, move all over,
yes.
Do they have to move their cows? That they, that it just shows that we are yet to fully comprehend that we are in the 22nd century. And just before we leave the Tribune, at the bottom, center bottom of the Tribune, it says COVID-19 vaccine, Lagos targets 60% roll out. So get yourself a copy of the Tribune and get all the details.
The last one for this morning is the Daily Times. And I'm going to start with the very obvious headline here. It says, truce at last between Ondo government and headsmen. And then I move over to the top, where former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is saying only solution to ethnic religious clashes is restructuring. He's talking about Nigeria here. And then on COVID-19, no patient must die due to lack of oxygen, COVID warns. And then drug test, NDLEA rather, seeks compulsory drug tests for students, security agents, and political appointees. And then we'll move over to oil and gas, where stakeholders demand amendment to PIB as Lawan least benefits. That is the headlines on the Daily Times this morning. Get yourself a copy of all of these dailies if you really want to know what's happening around the country.
Yes, and of course, if you're out of Nigeria, other parts of Africa or the world, and you want to get the juice or the meat of most of this story, just go online to any of the websites of our dailies, and you get the complete story as far as some of these headlines are concerned. And on that note, I also bid you to be part of our online community so that you can get up-to-date information from our website, www.tostv.com, tostvnetwork.com, and of course you should also follow and like TOS TV on all our social media handles, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And don't forget to also subscribe to our YouTube page. The conversation is on YouTube, so watch it, okay? All right, we'll take a quick breather, and when we come back, it will be our big story for today. welcome back. It is the big story on the conversation today, and we are appraising the insecurity situation in Nigeria. Of course, if you followed most of the stories we gave you on the front pages of the national dailies, you would see that the most trending topic is the subject of insecurity. Tension in the southwestern part of Nigeria. In fact, that has trended for over 1 week. Eviction notice was given, arrest orders, also given, and all kinds. But the good thing is, I think I must first of all appreciate the Nigerian Governors Forum for taking the initiative of walking the path of diplomacy and peace. Insecurity, apart from being the fear of every Nigerian, because in close to over a decade, we have consistently had to deal with the subject of insecurity. At one point in time, bombs were exploding, improvised devices were exploding all across the country. We're grateful to the fact that that seems to have been brought to the barest minimum. But the subject of insurgency, banditry, kidnapping has been on a high in recent months. Well, Nigeria has become the word on the lips of every Nigerian, and the topic of discussion where 2 or 3 Nigerians gather all across the country. Now, this phenomenon is a state of being subject to danger or injury. Now, it is the anxiety one experiences when one feels vulnerable and insecure. Several illegal armed groups, ethnic militia groups, religious fundamentalists, and fanatics are evidence of insecurity in Nigeria and across Africa, right? Now, these have given birth to a series of bombings, murder, arson, armed robbery, corruption, injustice, just to name a few that we hear about every day. Now, it is clear that the happenings are negatively affecting Nigeria politically, economically, and otherwise. And so, joining us via phone all the way from Lagos to appraise the insecurity situation in Nigeria and possibly across Africa as well, we have Okechukwu Nwaguma. He is the Executive Director, Rule of Law and Accountability Advocacy Center, RULAC, as I said, all the way from Lagos. Okechukwu, good morning. Are you with us?
Good morning. I'm here. Good morning.
Thank you so much for making our time to be with us. I hope you're staying safe.
Well, we're trying to living in Nigeria itself has become a risk.
Let's start with the latest development. Of course, in the last 1 week thereabout, there has been heightened tension all across the southwestern part of Nigeria because of the quit notice issued to herdsmen, first by the Ondo State Governor, Governor Akeredolu, and later by a pan-Yoruba fundamentalist in the person of Adeyemo Igboho, as they call him, who incidentally was a warrant of arrest was issued by the Inspector General of Police. But the good thing is that the Nigerian Governors Forum has stepped in, and we hear that there's a truce. What's your take on all of this so far?
Well, let me start by saying that it's good to see that the Governors Forum was able to intervene to, at least for now, try to reach some truce between the warring parties, But it raises a more fundamental issue about the increasing separatist agitation in Nigeria, and then the role that the headers are playing. Before now, when this started, it was basically centered around the north and the north central.
Yes.
But the activities of these groups have extended to even the south and the west now, leading to there being issued quit notices here and there. Um, I think that government needs to find a final solution to the activities of the herders. We understand that there are some genuine ones who are out there looking for livelihoods.
Yeah.
But there are many others who are engaged or involved in clear criminal activities, bearing arms. And of course, we've heard government talk about some of these people not being Nigerians, that criminal. So, where are they coming from, and why is it easy for foreigners, armed foreigners, to find their way into the Nigerian space? And I mean, so we need to address this from the roots, which is the fact that government has not taken any serious step to check, how people come in and go out of this country. Our borders are not checked. They are not regulated the way people come in and go out. So unless this happens, we'll continue to scratch, at the surface, because the thing is to what is even the role of the immigration and customs who are at the borders. How many of these headers who government itself says are not Nigerians, how do they find themselves? Are they registered? And what is the source of these arms? These arms, our security forces don't even seem to have them.
Yeah.
So so government needs to address all this for us to stem this. If you go today, you see here in Imo State, in Olo,
Yes.
soldiers, security forces,
Exchanging
in
gunfire.
in gun battle with certain people. Government itself has described as
Cultists.
militants.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to understand who these militants are and what has triggered all this. But generally, life has become so insecure in this country. It has, of course, you know that insecurity and failure to deal with it was one of the reasons Nigerians voted against former president,
Goodluck Jonathan. Yeah.
But under the current government, insecurity has become worse.
Okay. Okay, Chuku. Still looking at the headers situation. The Meiti Allah have said, and the Fulanis, the representative of the Fulanis, have suggested that restructuring might be a solution. That they too are very much, in tune with the need for Nigeria to be restructured, so that the Fulanis can have their own
where they belong.
Yeah, where they belong.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a workable solution?
Yeah, restructuring has become a major debate in this country over the time, but increasingly becoming more in the front burner, recently. And we need to also have a common understanding of what we mean by restructuring. But the truth is that the way this country is governed today, the way this country is run today, the way the political structure is, does not make for, good governance. It does not make for justice and equity, because the cost of some of these agitations, some of these responses from particularly the separatist groups, is a feeling of injustice. So I think that one way or the other, we need to restructure. And for me, restructuring means ensuring that every part of this country feels a sense of belonging. That no one part of this country dominates, the country and decides who gets what or who doesn't get what, So clearly, the truth is that we need to reorganize this country. And I know that under the previous government, President Jonathan had set up a political restructuring group or something that came up with reports about how to
there was that group.
This country.
Yeah, there was that group, and there was the Sovereign Conference that came out also with a document for the way forward for Nigeria.
Yes, and those who have studied the reports of these committees have argued that if Nigeria is, reorganized along the lines proposed, that things are likely going to get. I'm not saying that we should go back to the first, republic, for example.
Yeah.
But we need to look forward. I read the piece by Professor Jega, and it makes a lot of sense to me.
Okay.
We need to really make everybody feel a sense of belonging. We have to ensure justice and equity in this country. And this is part of why the separatist groups in the east, for example, in the west, everywhere, are springing up every now and then. So we need to really make run this country in a way that every part of the country feels that they belong to this country, that they have a stake, and that they have the right to attain any position or derive any benefit based on merit and being part of this country, and not that one person or one part of the country is there, determining what happens and what doesn't happen. And I think unless this happens, these things will continue.
Okay, Mr. Okechukwu, talking about moving the country forward, there's no gainsaying that the issue of insecurity has been paramount across the African continent, from Tunisia to Uganda, to Central African Republic, and back home here in Nigeria over the years. And then, so aside from restructuring, because I've spoken to quite a number of persons, and they're of the opinion that the government doesn't take the issue of insecurity as seriously as they should. In Nigeria. So aside from restructuring, which is still, wavy, what other measures do you think should be put in place to ensure that the issue of insecurity in Nigeria is curbed to the barest minimum?
Okay, your question is that apart from restructuring,
yes.
What are the other measures?
Yes.
The first thing is that there is high level of poverty in this country. Our educational system has collapsed.
Oh.
Our values have eroded. Young people grow up without seeing a future for themselves. So our healthcare system does not exist. That infrastructure have collapsed. Many Nigerians today don't, see the benefit of democracy and governance. So all these have led to frustration. Crime itself, it has a socio-economic root. When people don't have work, when they don't have employment, they don't have means of livelihood, people cannot feed their families. So crime is the natural thing that that you see. So it's all about good governance. Good governance. Our electoral system has to be fixed in such a way that whoever becomes a president or governor in this country becomes that, as a result of popular votes, and not that people's votes don't count anymore. So all these put together, it's all about governance. Unless we fix our governance, crime will continue. Crime and insecurity will continue to, be in the fall.
All right, Mr. Okechukwu, I really want to appreciate you for making out time with us. But before you go, what would be your suggestion as to the way forward? Of course, we've taken a cue from the actions of the Nigerian Governors Forum, suggesting that dialogue is the way to go. But there are groups continually across the country, in the South-South, in the Southwest, in the Southeast, consistent. And then this government has said, as far as it's concerned, it has nothing to do with the subject of restructuring. In fact, the last statement from the presidency was anybody that wants to take up the subject of restructuring should take it to the National Assembly. So if you had the opportunity to address Nigerians today, what would you say to them, especially as it regards the subject of insecurity?
Well, you talked about dialogue, and for me, this is important, But you see, dialogue cannot take place in a situation where government has contempt for public opinion. Look at even the response. You know, those who are interested should go to National Assembly. Now, which National Assembly are we even talking about? We expect that in any democracy, the three branches of government are independent and mutually restraining. There are a lot of things that the presidency has done that we expected the legislature to stand up and check them. But we don't have that independent legislature to checkmate the excesses or failures of the executive. For instance, there have been calls for the sack of the service chiefs who have failed.
True.
But the president has refused to,
take action.
Respond. Even the National Assembly has passed resolutions. Opinion mothers have called for the removal. But this president does things the way he likes. Or as long as we have a president who does not listen, dialogue cannot work. Dialogue didn't work in the case of the NSAS. When at the same time government was calling for dialogue, it was still clamping down on the same youth they were inviting. So this is an insincere government. So the way forward is for us to have a legitimate government that respects public opinion, that is guided by democratic, precepts. Unless this happens, there's no way. The only thing that can happen is that if Nigerians cannot have this cup pass over them, they will have to wait until the end of the tenure of this government, and we have a more legitimate government that represents the interests of the people.
Thank you so much, Mr. Okechukwu. We do appreciate that you made our time to be with us, and we hope that as we continue to beam our searchlight on the subject of security across the country, when we do come calling on you, you will oblige us this opportunity.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we have been speaking with Okechukwu Nwaguma, Executive Director, Rule of Law and Accountability Advocacy Center, RULAC, all the way from Lagos. And of course, we have been looking at appraising the insecurity situation in Nigeria, considering latest or recent developments. Of course, we have our searchlight beamed on the southwest, and just yesterday, of course, again, another set of crises started brewing in the southeast, Olu, to be precise, in Imo State, southeast Nigeria. So trust us to keep you up to speed with developments as they evolve. We'll take a quick breather. When we come back, of course, Adeswa will be taking us on what's trending on social media.
Welcome back. If you're just joining, you probably missed out on quite a number because we're almost wrapping up the show. But we're at the, I think this is probably my favorite part, my favorite segment of the conversation. It's where I bring you what is trending on social media. Now, if you have been following the show, you would have heard us talk about the issue that happened in Orlu in Imo State. Our guest spoke about it. John here has been talking about it the whole day. And so the circumstances surrounding what actually happened, or the reason why it happened, the unrest in Orlu in Imo State, is kind of hazy. Some persons have said that there was an ongoing military operation in the community as a result of a clash between the army and some youth believed to be members of the Eastern Security security network. And some residents of Olu have, were captured. They captured scenes of the crimes with their phone and uploaded as clips on social media. And one of the clips that were uploaded on social media showed, military personnel, in the calm streets shooting sporadically, in firing gunshots, on the streets. And then some military trucks were seen in another video being driven through the streets. And then a woman's voice could be heard from the background of the video crying. And then some quite a number of reactions have trailed, this recent development on Twitter, and I'm going to take some of those tweets here. This one is from _Josh. He says, nothing much here to see, just Nigerian army doing what they do best to unarmed citizens. But this time, it's happening in Orlu. I think he's making reference to what had the Lekki toll shooting during the NSAS protest in Lagos State. And then this person at Yaga says, the stories, pictures, and videos of human rights violation coming out from Orlu local government area of Imo State are scary and heartbreaking. President Muhammadu Buhari must call the Nigerian army to order an immediate investigation conducted. All officers culpable must face justice. And the boy is great says at HQ Nigerian Army, that's Nigerian Army Twitter handle, Nigerian Army has lost their respect. They are no different from the Nigerian police. This is a shame. How they lost their dignity is still a mystery. I think quite a number of people had so much faith in the Nigerian military, and then going from what happened at the Lekki toll and then having to see this, I think there's been a shake in that faith. People already feel like these people are meant to protect us, and then they're turning against us. How do you feel about that? Because I know you've spoken about it during the show, but how do you feel personally?
It's shocking. Shocking in the sense that I know many people don't know this, but I had been in the military, and our training from the very day you arrive is to make you understand that your primary responsibility, in fact your sole responsibility, is to defend the sovereignty and integrity of Nigeria, and that includes the citizens. What I have witnessed, having left the military to become a civilian, is the fact that somehow that tradition has eroded, and now the military has been politicized or politically disoriented over the years, that unfortunately the rank and file of the military have lost their the sense of purpose to recognize that their loyalty, their duty is first to the people of Nigeria and then to the territorial sovereignty of this nation. So it is unimaginable to see that the military now go to the extent of, dehumanizing, abusing citizens, the very citizens whose taxes are used to, equip, train, and arm the military. It's like biting the finger that feeds you.
Exactly.
Because they are now adopting the police, what the mentality the Nigerian police has. When you talk to an average policeman and let him understand that, look, no, you work for me. He say, no, we are federal.
Exactly.
That's the response they give you. Say, oh, we are federal. So invariably, the average Nigerian policeman is telling you that, look, we're not here to protect you. We're here to protect our principals, the guys who are on top. If I might borrow that phrase, my organ at the top, So unfortunately, that's the line the military is beginning to toe, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I agree with what Okechukwu says. There is need for a total reorientation, probably a total compartment of this nation, and then we begin to piece it back in the manner and in the way that we so desire for the nation to move forward.
Okay, and with that, we have come to the end of the conversation this morning. But I want to say that I hope that the issue of insecurity in Nigeria and across Africa is quelled or reduced to the barest minimum, because I, like every other Nigerian, are tired of having to hear this today and that tomorrow. It's tiring and exhausting. I hope we get to nip it in the bud or something is done about it. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Do not forget to follow us across all social media platforms, TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And also subscribe to YouTube at TOS TV Network. And our website is www.tostvnetwork.com for more story posts and everything else you want to know. Happenings around the world, not just in Nigeria or Africa, happenings around the world. Thank you again for sticking with us. I am Adesu Alsui.
And I am Kamion John.
Thank you for watching the show.